For most people, when they think of guitar shred, they think of that crazy playing that was born out of the late 70s and 80s. And it's fair, the guitar shred thing didn't become part of popular hit music until that time, but there were some guitar players out there that had been ripping on the instrument decades before. So today, I'm here to share my top 5 shredders before there was shred. To begin this list, we go all the way back to 1928 and the first record with Django Reinhardt. Django was born in 1910 and sadly only lived 43 years, but in that time he appeared on over 900 recordings.
Listen to Django Reinhardt. It's the same melody, but what a difference in interpretation.
Reinhardt first started playing violin at the age of 12, and by his 15th birthday, he was making a living playing his banjo guitar and busking at cafes with his brother. You might notice from the clips that he plays with only 2 fingers on his fret hand, and that is because he was caught in a fire at the age of 17 and was burned over half his body. He spent 18 months in a hospital and many more months relearning how to play with just his middle and index finger. Django is an incredible example of determination and an exceptional proto-shredder that may have helped influence generations of fretboard gymnastics to come. You think 7, 8, whatever strings guitars was a thing started by the 21st century metalheads? Wrong. I have a really cool story about Segovia that I'll tell you in a moment, but first a bit of history. Andrés Segovia was born in Spain in 1893 and lived 94 incredible years. He was 16 at his first public performance and played his last concert at Carnegie Hall in 1987, just a few months before he passed. Andrés was an absolute legend and was made a Marky in Spain, got a Grammy Lifetime Achievement, and was awarded honorary doctorates from 10 universities. So my story about him goes back to around 1988 when I was still living at home and in my early guitar learning stages. I had just discovered Yngwie Malmsteen and was wearing out his first 2 albums. I was excited to show my parents this incredible new level of guitar mastery that was out there, and they listened patiently to a song and nodded along. When the track completed, my dad said, "Hold on a sec, son, I've got something to show you." He went down to the basement and re-emerged with an album with this old guy on it holding an acoustic. I put it on the record player, and shortly after picking my jaw up off the ground, I said, "Well, I guess Yngwie didn't invent the 30-second note." Looking back, I'd say that was the first hold my beer moment I ever experienced. Go Dad. When I think of country and bluegrass, I do associate it with fast picking techniques, chicken picking if you will, but sweeping arpeggios? Yeah, that was the late 60s, folks. Chet Atkins, aka Mr. Guitar, is also a lifetime Grammy Achievement winner and a member of all 3 Country, Rock and Roll, and Musicians Hall of Fames. His career began after he dropped out of high school and went to work at a radio station in Knoxville playing fiddle and guitar. From there he bounced around quite a lot, having trouble holding gigs because his style was seen as too sophisticated to be truly country. Reportedly, he was a very shy person and that made it difficult to get gigs as well, but thankfully he landed one with Red Foley and got to play at the Grand Ole Opry in 1946. And even though he was also let go from that for not being country enough, it did eventually lead to a record deal with RCA Victor. It took some time for him even then to catch on because he was really blazing a new path in the genre, but catch on it did, receiving CMA Instrumentalist of the Year awards 8 times over almost 20 years from 67 to 85. If ever there was a You Keep Doing You story, Chet's is it. So if you look on Wikipedia, you're going to get a few John McLaughlins, and more than one of them is a musician. The one I'm talking about was born in 1942 and jammed with Jimi Hendrix, played with Tony Williams, and eventually really made a splash with Mahavishnu Orchestra. John was one of the early fusion gods, and the first time I heard his stuff, I was both baffled and intrigued. He appears on one of my all-time favorite albums, which I'll be speaking about when we talk about the last member of this list. John's playing and credential list is massive, and he flows effortlessly between different styles. His work continues to this day, and I'm gonna just let another clip speak for itself. Fellow Jersey resident Al Di Meola graduated Berklee College of Music in 1971 and promptly got a gig with Chick Corea's pioneering fusion band Return to Forever. His rapid staccato picking style, which had mostly only been heard in flamenco/classical type settings or not ever with an overdriven guitar, was the prototype sound for future shredder Yngwie Malmsteen, which, as I covered in my Mount Rushmore of Guitar video, was a watershed moment in modern guitar. Al also appeared on one of my absolute favorite guitar albums of all time that I suggest everyone check out, Friday Night in San Francisco, which features Al, John McLaughlin, and a definite honorable mention on this list, Paco de Lucia. The sheer amount of shred and brilliant playing on that record is astounding. Al is an outspoken figure in the guitar community still to this day, and certainly sparks discussion with comments about the importance of picking every note rather than taking what he deems as shortcuts with sweep picking and hammer-ons. In one interview, he parroted claims by the guitarists who are always saying that one note says so much more than 100. His response? I always laugh at idiots who make that claim. Tell that to a flamenco player or a classical player and see what they say. It's almost a defensive reaction. They take something they lack, attack it, and claim they never wanted it in the first place. Sure. So there you have my quick overview, and if you like any of these players, I suggest you check them out right here on YouTube. I'll make and include a list in the description below of a playlist called Proto Shredders for some of the best of their works. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I do get back to everyone as soon as I can. And until next time, guys, keep making great music. Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.